Today's date is March 2nd, 2022. And 24 hours ago, I saw the Batman. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking in yet again on another video. Today is a little different. I really wanted to do a review for the Batman, but I've had like a migraine like all day. So audio is what you're gonna get. So hopefully you guys enjoy. But yeah, yesterday I went and saw the Batman in IMAX for one of the fan screenings, and I'll insert some pictures I took. Got a cool comic, which if you miss the fan screening, if you get the issue of Harley Quinn that comes out the week of March 22nd, you will get the same exact cover, which it is pretty dope. But yeah, it's two different stories though. So I think the one we got last night was for the Long Halloween, and the one that comes out March 22nd is, of course, Harley Quinn. I wanted to do a spoiler-free review, obviously, because the movie is technically not like out yet, right? I think like real screenings, like an actual screening outside of like fan screenings and press screenings, doesn't start until Thursday, so tomorrow. But if you can, please avoid spoilers, because there's so many amazing moments in this movie that haven't been shown in any trailer or clip that has been released. So please try to go into it with no spoilers. I know that's kind of hard sometimes when you're on the internet, but the least amount of spoilers possible for this movie. To start out my review, I kind of want to get into some of the more technical things that I really loved about this movie. Starting out with Matt Reeves, who is the director, who I didn't really know a lot about his directing style, I guess, before seeing this movie. I've only watched a handful of his projects, so I really didn't know what to expect. And the cinematographer for this film is Greg Fraser, who did an amazing job in this movie, as well as last year Dune. He was the cinematographer on that as well, and the way that Gotham looked in this movie was just so beautiful. The neon mixed with the like smog-esqueness in the air, just chef's kiss to that. I know they used the volume in this film, which Zoe Kravitz has said before in interviews that it really helped her and Robert have even greater chemistry while they were filming, because it's like you felt like you were there as opposed to a blue screen or a green screen. So shout out to them for their work here, because it was a beautiful film to watch. I've only seen the film once. I do plan on seeing it again, but I can't think of really any moments in the movie that had like wonky VFX. Like everything looked like polished, beautiful. I really couldn't even place a moment in my brain while watching this movie that I thought, ooh, that could use more work. It was so well crafted. Outside of the technicalities of the film, there were so many amazing performances in this movie, and we're gonna start out with Robert Pattinson. If you guys don't know, I'm like smiling so hard. I love Robert Pattinson so much. Even in his early days, everyone likes to call him Sparkly Batman or whatever, because he was in Twilight. I love his like dedication to the craft of acting, and it's no different for this film. He transforms. Like just the amount of acting he does with his eyes is I can't even put it into words. And a lot of people always want Batman to have like the white eyes, but it really would have taken away a lot of the emotion in his portrayal of Batman that would have been so sorely missed, because there are some moments in this film where the camera is just like on his face while he has the cowl on, and the amount of eye acting, I guess is what we're going to call it today. The amount of eye acting he does and the amount of emotions you get from them is incredible. So hats off to him. He does such a great job, and he does a really good job at Bruce Wayne too. Like showing this tortured, angsty, mad at the world, but also he knows that the only way the world can change is if he changes it himself. There's a really great line at the end of the movie that I'm not going to spoil, but it has stuck with me for the whole day. And yeah, no, him as Bruce Wayne was, I was kind of on the edge of like before the movie came out, I was nervous that like I was going to love him as Batman, but maybe not so much Bruce Wayne, because, you know, a lot of the times with portrayals of Batman, we get like, oh, he's a really good Bruce Wayne, but he's not that good of a Batman, or he's a great Batman, but not that good of a Bruce Wayne. And so that's what I was kind of nervous about, but he blew me away. I love just there's so many subtle things that he does while he acts in this movie that once you see it on screen, it's I don't know what else to say other than it's amazing. Not only does he portray like a super conflicted and angry Bruce Wayne and Batman, he's extremely brutal. There's parts of this movie where I was like, are we sure this is PG-13? It makes me so anxious to know if there's like going to be like an R-rated cut, because he was brutal. I mean, and people were brutal to him. There's a lot of violence. Another performance that I just absolutely adored, obviously, is going to be Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle and Catwoman. She is so dang sexy. And like, not just physically sexy, right? Like, she's beautiful to look at, but the way that she like just exudes this incredible amount of femininity, especially while she is interacting with Batman. It's just, she just makes you like happy to be a woman, you know, like she is just so sleek and sensual, but she's also extremely crafty with her hands, and she's able to hold her own, right? Like, she doesn't need Batman to be around to defend herself, and she doesn't need really anybody. And that's what I really love about her portrayal of Selina Kyle, is she's incredibly independent, and hard-headed, which isn't always a bad thing, I don't think. But she's strong, she's sensual, she's savvy, she's incredible. And I cannot think of anybody else that would have portrayed Catwoman in a better way. And I'm really glad she got the chance to finally be Catwoman. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where they go with this character. I know that I know the Penguin's getting a show, but Selina Kyle, Catwoman, she deserves her own solo project, because, wow, she really, as well, I mean, her and Robert both just blew me away, and their chemistry was just off the charts. Like, you know, you see them in, like, interviews and on red carpets, and, like, you can tell there's chemistry there, like, in real life, but while watching the movie, it was like there is so much tension in between them, whether it is like sexual tension or not, there's tension. I mean, they butt heads on things, and I couldn't think of a better pairing, right? Like, they just mesh so well together, and they just aesthetically, when they're next to each other, it's like, okay, yes, that is Batman, that is Catwoman, that is Batcat. I love it. I stan it. There is like an amazing amount of chemistry between Robert Pattinson and Jeffrey Wright as well. Jeffrey Wright plays Commissioner Gordon, who is just spot on Commissioner Gordon. Like, he's a good guy. He's a great guy even. It was great to see how, you know, Batman, he handles justice one way. for sure. And you see James Gordon handles justice, one way. He's a police officer, and the way they differ, but the way that they intersect as well. And when they intersect, you just see they're amazing detectives together. And the way that it flourishes, like throughout the movie, you see just so many great scenes of them, and them like putting together things throughout the movie. And oh my god, I don't want to get into like spoilers with their relationship, but again, the castings for this movie are just incredible. I couldn't see Robert Pattinson's Batman and Jeffrey Wright's Jim Gordon like with any other actors. So again, great performances from Jeffrey Wright. Quickly, I'll go into the Penguin. Colin Farrell literally physically transforms for this role, almost like you can't even tell it's him only by the eyes, really. When you're watching the movie, the accent is incredible. I really hope that, like, for the amount of time he was in the makeup chair, that this movie at least gets nominated for makeup for the Oscars or something, because yeah, like I said, he literally transforms. There's the only ounce of Colin Farrell like that you can see in the Penguin is his eyes. So he does a great job. Lots of great dialogue between him and Bruce Wayne and Carmine Falcone, and Jim Gordon is just, I love it. I loved it so much. It was like reading a graphic novel. Like seeing all these characters together was incredible. One of the last performances I want to hit on is Andy Serkis as Alfred. He was just another standout to me. He was great. I love when Alfred is used in the way that he's used in this, if that makes sense. Without getting into too many spoilers, he is used as like an asset to Bruce Wayne and Batman. There's really, the dialogue between him and Bruce Wayne is just, at times it's just utterly heartbreaking. And there's a really touching scene that, again, not going to spoil. There's a really touching scene between them in the film that I'm really excited to talk about once more people see this movie. I mean, obviously, Paul Dano as the Riddler was terrifying. There are scenes in this movie that are like reminiscent of a horror film, and when he has the mask on, it's like, it's hard for me to believe that that's Paul Dano. I mean, him in Prisoners was insane, but him as the Riddler, I don't know. Again, I don't know who else could have played this character better than Paul Dano, because he was terrifying, and sometimes he even like leaned into like a little bit of campiness. I mean, it's the Riddler, there's gonna be camp, but like it never got like bad campy, like not campy that campiness that you would like cringe at, but like campiness that would like make you smile, because like that's exactly how you'd expect the Riddler to act in real life, like modern day Riddler. So yes, Paul Dano, amazing. Now I wanted to get into like just a few of my issues with this movie, and they're very small. Like some people might think it's nitpicking, but I don't think there were certain characters in the movie that definitely didn't get enough spotlight, for me personally. You might have seen the movie and you're going to be like, oh, what the hell are you talking about? But again, like this is just like an origin of year 2 Batman, so we really wanted to focus on the Batman. But I feel like sometimes other characters kind of got like overshadowed or maybe even forgotten about. Now, one of the last things I wanted to get into was the runtime. The runtime is great. I think it's maybe a little too long in certain spots of the movie, but only because there is so much action and tension in this film that like when there is a slow moment, and I don't mean slow in like a bad way, but like when there was more of like dialogue, I was like just tense, like on edge. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? So yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing that it was slow, but when it was slow, like you could feel when it was slow. But yeah, very minuscule issues I had with this film. I'm gonna go see it again probably tomorrow, and I'm gonna go see it again next weekend. So it's hard for me to rate things, you know, like 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10, but I would probably say like 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5 for this movie. I didn't expect it to hit me as hard as it did in certain parts of the dialogue. So again, Matt Reeves wrote and directed this movie, so he did an amazing job. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. I really want to talk about this movie, so I'm really excited. There's going to be a World's Finest stream this Sunday, 8 p.m. We have a great lineup of guests for our panel. We're going to talk all things the Batman. So yeah, we'll get into more spoilers there, so you'll hear my spoilers. Don't worry, you'll hear my spoilers. But please leave a comment below of how you initially felt if you got to go to a fan screening, what you're excited for in the Batman, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!